if Homer is terse and swift as he is, I'm not sure that that'll quite carry your point about honor and virtue, because sometimes you blink and you think, yes, in those two lines you just said how Odysseus, having left Troy, landed on, it might have been Imbros or Tenedos, made short work of the civilians, collectivized and sold the women, burned everything he couldn't carry away, and so I think, wow, there's a lot condensed into that. In other words, the idea of the soldier's life is represented without any euphemism at all. I mean, sometimes they gloat over violence, and sometimes you realize that, yes, men like listening to this because men love this stuff, the way the sword goes in under the breastbone or under the chin, and the feel and the crunch of it. But there's also the absolute pitilessness of it, and the feeling that it must be justified, and the best way to justify it is to say, you're doing it on behalf of your wives and children at home. You're doing this to the other people's wives and children. They're the necessary invocation. All the more important then that he has to be always represented as not forgetting the family or the family values in which this actually rather hectic bit of plunder in Troy has been undertaken.
But when you describe
exercise in vanity and also in the well, I don't want to call it the conceit exactly, because I don't want to dishonor the soldiery, but the idea that, look, anything may be better than the pastoral life on some island, and if you get a chance to get into a long ship, a dark ship, and go and try and win a golden reputation, seize it, and who cares about the survivors?
Well, reputation is not divorced from honor. I mean, reputation is honor. It's a debased form of it in our own time. But, I mean, it strikes me as really revealing, Christopher, that you'd say, well, you know, there's no euphemism here. Well, the appeal to the virtues for Homer is not euphemism. I mean, that's the tragedy of our own age, is that when we speak about it, it becomes very difficult for a soldier, even a soldier, to get up and talk about things like a soldier's honor, bravery, the military virtues, because they sound false in our mouths as we say them. You know that they're real, but to talk about them in public sounds false. But Homer lives in a time when there isn't that big a gap between the language and the moral sense. Now, we may disagree with that moral sense, but the moral sense is real, and the language matches it. And they know when they have been vicious. They know when they've fallen into vice.